Death and property taxes. It's December 9th, 2025, and these are your headlines. Nothing else is certain in life except for death and taxes, paraphrasing Benjamin Franklin there. And today, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has rolled out his latest property tax plan. But this proposal is noticeably narrower than the more sweeping tax overhaul Governor Greg Abbott pitched just a few weeks ago. So Patrick's package centers on what he calls Operation Double Nickel. That would lower the threshold for senior tax freezes from 65 to age 55. That change would lock in school property taxes and freeze valuations a decade earlier than the current law, offering potential savings of roughly $10,000 per homeowner over that 10-year window. Patrick says that up to 3.3 million Texans would qualify under that. The plan also includes a $40,000 boost to the homestead exemption, with larger increases for homeowners 55 and older, and a 3.5% cap on city and county spending growth. Now, Patrick said the full package would cost under $4 billion per biennium. That's far less ambitious than the broader plan laid out by Governor Abbott, which aims to eliminate school taxes for homeowners, rein in appraisals statewide, restrict local tax hikes, and force two-thirds voter approval before any increase would take effect. Now, Lieutenant Governor Patrick acknowledged he hadn't reviewed Abbott's plan in depth, but he said he's open to working together. For now, however, the Lieutenant Governor's proposal offers targeted relief, mostly for those 55 and up, and is very different than the structural shakeup that Governor Abbott has demanded to keep tax bills from rising year after year. Speaking of property taxes, Attorney General Ken Paxton is widening his crackdown on local tax increases, launching a statewide review of nearly 1,000 cities in the state to make sure they're following the law. This comes after Paxton recently ordered 4 cities, Whitesboro, Lamarck, Odessa, and Tombeen, to stop enforcing their new property tax rates because they were not up to date on required financial audits. Under Senate Bill 1851, any city that is behind on its audits is not allowed to raise taxes above the no new revenue rate. And Paxton says what started as just a few cases has now uncovered a much larger problem, with cities routinely failing to meet transparency rules. Paxton said local officials will not be allowed to ignore the law and burden Texans with never-ending tax increases. So this expanded review now includes major cities like Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Fort Worth, El Paso, and Waco. And Paxton's office says more could be added soon.
What are the important things out there in Texas politics and Texas news that matter to you, and what can you do about it? That's what we want to bring you with the Luke Macias Show on a weekly basis for 20 to 30 minutes. That way you can get the information and go do something for the rest of your week. I look forward to coming to you every Wednesday.
Federal prosecutors say a Houston-based smuggling ring illegally funneled cutting-edge American AI technology to China, in what officials are calling one of the largest export control violations ever tied to artificial intelligence. The case centers on Howe Global LLC and its owner, 43-year-old Alan Howe Sue of Missouri City. Prosecutors say Sue moved tens of thousands of restricted NVIDIA H100 and H200 chips overseas, hardware the U.S. considers critical to national defense, advanced weapons systems, and AI superiority. Now, Sue has pled guilty, admitting he helped ship more than $160 million worth of GPUs to China, Hong Kong, and other barred destinations. Federal investigators say the group falsified shipping records, hid the identity of buyers, and routed more than $50 million in Chinese financing through U.S. banks. 2 additional defendants, New York tech operator Fanyu Tom Gong and Canadian citizen Ben Lun Wan, have now been arrested and face up to 20 years in prison. U.S. Attorney Nicholas Ganjai said the case strikes at the core of national security, warning the country that controls AI technology will control the future. He added that more arrests are likely as the investigation widens. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.